Dear friends, welcome to another episode of Geopolitical and Military News. In this video, we will discuss the Ukrainian invasion of the Russian state of Kursk. What exactly does Ukraine want with this? On Tuesday, August 6th, about 1,000 soldiers, supported by 20 combat vehicles and at least 11 armored vehicles, invaded the Russian region of Kursk from Ukraine, attacking and destroying various border posts on the Russian side of the border and rapidly advancing along two main axes, towards Goyevo, passing through the suburbs of Sudisa, and towards Lyubimовka, passing through Yubikovka. Due to the high dynamics of the events and troop movements, it is impossible to know exactly how many villages and towns have been occupied by Ukraine, with sources indicating that at least a dozen Russian localities are within the Ukrainian advance area. According to the governor of Kursk Oblast, Alexei Smirnov, hundreds of people have been evacuated from areas near the Ukrainian border, with Moscow declaring a state of emergency in the region to expedite the military response. From the videos and images circulating, we can see several Ukrainian vehicles on Russian roads, with explosions visible in areas up to 12 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, confirming reports from local sources. There are also many videos showing dozens of Russian soldiers surrendering in the face of the Ukrainian advance. On Wednesday, August 7th, in an extraordinary session of the Russian Security Council, Vladimir Putin accused Ukraine of provocation, stating that he has given top priority to containing the Ukrainian advance, with Valery Gerasimov, the Russian Chief of General Staff, assuring Putin that Russian forces in Kursk managed to halt the Ukrainian invasion, but did not provide details about the updated position of Ukrainian forces within Kursk. On Thursday, August 8th, maps show some changes, with several sources reporting an advance to the north, passing through Malaya LCN, confirming the breach of two major defensive lines that Russia had been building and reinforcing since 2022. However, there is still no official information on the exact location of Russian and Ukrainian forces within Kursk. But, effectively, what is Ukraine's objective with this invasion? Could it be seen as an attempt to annex portions of Russian territory? It's important to note that this is not the first time Ukrainian forces have invaded Russia, with at least 3 major assaults since February 2022, all led by pro-Ukrainian and anti-Putin Russian forces, such as the Russian Volunteer Corps, formed in August 2022 by former Russian soldiers opposed to Vladimir Putin's rule. This group participated in the assaults against the Russian Oblast of Bryansk in March 2023 and against Belgorod in May of that same year, an action that also involved another Russian unit, the Freedom of Russia Legion. Now, in 2024, these units have attacked Russia again, spreading over a larger area, encompassing Belgorod, Kursk, and areas in Kharkiv still under Russian occupation. The attacks occurred between March and April and included a new Russian unit, the Siberia Battalion, bringing the number of pro-Ukrainian Russian battalion-level units fighting alongside Kiev to 3. We do not yet know exactly which units are involved in the assault on Kursk Oblast that began on August 6, but it is highly likely that these Russian units are also participating in the actions, most likely reinforced by Chechen, Polish, and Georgian units. The objective of all these 3 major assaults and the current one is not to annex Russian areas, as doing so would require weakening the various defensive fronts that are currently active in Ukraine. The objective, it seems, is to provoke Russia and force Putin to divert his attention, withdrawing forces and weakening other sectors in Ukraine to reinforce areas within Russian territory. Any military action involving the invasion of Russian territory is, as you can imagine, capable of spreading anger throughout the Kremlin, in addition to the risk of losing strategically positioned weapons and ammunition depots along the Ukrainian border. The entry of soldiers and armored vehicles into Russia from Ukraine is seen as a great humiliation for Putin and his much-vaunted second-largest military power in the world, being unable to effectively protect its border. Putin also shows the world that he has no reserve forces, implying that much of everything he has militarily is currently inside Ukraine, with what remains being insufficient even to prevent the entry of a handful of vehicles and armored vehicles. Therefore, Ukraine does not have a major strategic objective with these assaults. The Ukrainians do not want to conquer, occupy, and maintain control over villages and towns within Russia. What they want is simply to provoke and irritate Putin, forcing him to weaken active sectors in Ukraine to reinforce the interior of Russia, and they want to show the world that Russian military forces are almost entirely focused on the invasion, leaving very little for essential tasks, such as, for example, border defense. This shows that, as with the previous assaults in Belgorod, Bryansk, and Kharkiv, the assault currently taking place in Kursk is likely to last for at most a few more days, just long enough for Putin to withdraw forces from his invasion and send them to the area under assault, weakening some sectors and facilitating the defensive work of Ukrainian forces on the ground. Thank you for watching the video until the end. If you liked the content, don't forget to leave your like. This helps the channel grow and reach more people. If you didn't like it, leave your dislike and explain in the comments how we can improve. Also, comment on suggestions for topics we can cover here. Insulting comments or those defending dictatorships or war criminals will be summarily blocked. Thank you for your understanding. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing by clicking the subscribe button below and hitting the bell to receive all notifications. Thanks. See you next time.